and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Today on Good Morning Maine, after shots rang out in Lincoln yesterday, police responded to find one person dead. Plus, an Ellsworth man is facing drug trafficking charges after he was found to be in possession of a large amount of fentanyl. And we'll hear from an expert on why the holidays can cause a lot of stress, depression, and even anxiety, and how to manage these feelings if you're experiencing them. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith and thank you for tuning in this morning. It does look like we might finally have some rain in the forecast today. We need it. I know I've been saying it. Excuse me. I've been saying it for days, maybe even weeks. We have been experiencing some drought conditions. So let's get a look at that forecast with meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Hey Emma, thank you very much. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Irish Collision Center. Irish Collision Center offers expert repairs with a 3D frame measuring system, aluminum repair equipment. Our recent expansion boosts capacity, faster service. We're dedicated to quality every time. Visit us today. Here we go. We do have some advisories that are posted. This is a small craft advisory that is up until 11 a.m. Friday along the coast, with gale warnings up until 6 a.m. Friday as well. We're dealing with some active surf with the system that will be passing through. Meanwhile, though, we're quiet outside this morning. Plenty of clouds moving in, a little bit of moisture further off towards the east. But our focus now is going to be turning more toward the south and west with this system right about in here that's bringing some rain and a little bit of snow with it as well. That will start to track in our direction. We'll get some rain going throughout the weekend and maybe a little bit of snow before we're all finished up as well. Futurecast, plenty of clouds across the region. It will be breezy out there. Maybe some afternoon rain showers today as well. More opportunities for rain will approach later on tonight and the parts of Friday morning. As for the gusty winds, they can reach up to around 20 to 25 miles per hour today. Still rather gusty overnight tonight and into the daytime period tomorrow. Upper 40s today, cloudy with afternoon rain showers possible, and the northeast wind at about 25 miles per hour. Your hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing that mostly cloudy sky, maybe a chance for an afternoon rain shower with temperatures in the 40s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Emma?
Thank you, Devin. We'll get a look at that full 5-day a little later on. Well, first thing this morning, a Wednesday morning shooting in Lincoln led to law enforcement discovering a person dead, rattling the community on the Mohawk Road. Our Kelly Warren was on the scene and has the latest.
State units are in Edinburgh heading that way. SO's responding as well. 200 notified, major crimes responding.
Mohawk Road in Lincoln was filled with state and local police cars on Wednesday morning. State Police Major Crimes Unit North was requested by Lincoln Police for what was confirmed to be a shooting. State Police say one person is deceased, though their name has not been released. It occurred at a trailer home near 614 Mohawk Road, the road connecting Lincoln and Enfield. Neighbors reported hearing several gunshots. One nearby resident, Nancy Erickson, said the trailer was occupied by the Lord family.
2 or 3 weeks ago, there were 4 cruisers out in the driveway, but none of the neighbors knew what was going on. So all I know today is that I was told it was the Lord's trailer.
According to Maine State Police, detectives are investigating the matter and interviewing witnesses. State Police evidence response technicians also processed the scene and will be there throughout Wednesday night. State Police affirm that there is no danger to the public. In Lincoln, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Portland police arrest 5 more people in the Forest Avenue brawl over the summer that left a woman dead. Portland police say all 5 suspects are members of the Outlaws Biker Club. They're each charged with 1 count of conspiracy to commit elevated aggravated assault, along with 2 counts of elevated aggravated assault. Brad Rogers looks at the suspects arrested and the 1 suspect police are still looking for.
Portland police have yet to release mugshots for the 5 suspects arrested. They are Caleb Sidra of Wyndham, Jason Keenan of Bath, James Moody of Bowdoin, Caleb Pelkey of Portland, and Nathan Walsh of Lewiston. Police are still searching for a 6th suspect, Christopher Haken of Londonderry, New Hampshire. Police say he's believed to be associated with the Outlaws Biker Club, is considered dangerous, and may be armed. Police say this all started at Brookside Bar in Westbrook on July 30th. 2 different biker clubs, the FSU Biker Club and Higher Calling Club, got into an altercation. Police say punches were thrown and the Outlaws then got involved. After the incident at Brookside Bar, police say the suspects, believed to be members of the Outlaws Motorcycle Club, came here to Forest Avenue armed, where they confronted and beat 3 members of the FSU Biker Club. This is surveillance footage of the alleged attack. According to testimony, Susan McHugh fired a shot to stop the attack. Prosecutors say it escalated when Aaron Karp fired 9 shots, with 1 bullet fatally hitting McHugh in the chest.
Miss McHugh would be alive today if they had not gone to that Meineke lot. But they went to confront Mr. McHugh, Mr. Holmes, and Mr. Frechette. And they brought weapons in hand, and he brought a gun.
Defense attorneys argued self-defense should be considered.
The Outlaws did not start this incident. Mr. Holmes and his FSU gang went and literally robbed and stole and assaulted people who happened to be friendly with the Outlaws.
Police used dash cam and surveillance footage to identify Aaron Karp. They are not saying how they identified the other 6 suspects. The case remains under investigation. The 5 suspects charged are now out on bail. Murder suspect Aaron Karp is being held without bail.
This is Brad Rogers reporting. An Ellsworth man is facing drug trafficking charges after a traffic stop in Holden Tuesday night. According to the Holden Police Department, officers stopped 48-year-old Christopher Weber of Ellsworth for a traffic violation on the main road in front of the Holden Elementary School. They say during the investigation, the officers uncovered more than 20 grams of fentanyl and 1.7 grams of crack cocaine. Weber is charged with 3 counts of aggravated drug trafficking and probation violation. Old Town's new police chief has only been on the job for the past couple of months, but he's already becoming a fixture of the force and the community. Our David Ledford sat down with him to learn how he's tackling issues the town faces and how he's adjusting to the role.
Meet Old Town's newest police chief.
Chief David White, can I help you?
Chief White officially took on the role back in August after spending over 28 years in law enforcement in northern New Jersey. Since then, he's been working with the department to address several town issues, including illegal drug use.
Like everywhere, drugs narcotics is a big problem everywhere. So we're doing what we can to curb that. We're focusing on certain areas that we know are the problem areas.
Since September, the department has also been providing coverage on Indian Island, which White says is going well.
They were having a hard time staffing, getting full staff. We've been getting nothing but positive responses from the residents over there.
White says officer retention is a widespread issue for many departments and one he plans to focus on in Old Town.
You know, we're trying to do everything we can to attract people and recruit people. And then once we get them, we got to keep them. So, you know, we're looking at different ways of doing that.
The town had been without a police chief since Scott Wilcox's departure in December 2023. And now town officials say they're happy to see the position filled again.
But I've seen him everything from having coffee with a city councilor to flipping burgers at one of our local movie in the park nights.
And White says he plans to continue building that bond between the town and law enforcement through community policing.
We're excited to see what he has planned for us, and so far so good.
In Old Town, David Ledford, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
The annual Anna Schreiner's Festival of Trees is set to kick off this weekend, and a lot goes into putting this together and making it run smoothly. Our Grace Blanchard visited the Anna Schreiner's Temple in Bangor to speak with some of the dedicated volunteers.
Behind the scenes of this winter wonderland known as the Festival of Trees is a team of volunteers that work hard to make it all happen.
There are so many dedicated volunteers that have been here for years, if not decades.
From decorating wreaths and tying hundreds of bows to taking the pictures with Santa and much more, it takes over 70 volunteers to run just one day of the festival.
It's unreal how everybody pulls together, you know, the team, you know, that we have, plus all the other nobles and their wives that come in, and you know, it's unreal.
Many have been volunteering since the event started back in 2011.
It's nice to have a dedicated team that's known what's worked and what they've tried, and so we're continuing to make it better and make it run smoother for the public. So it's really nice to have that experience and that knowledge.
Penobscot County's very own Sheriff Troy Morton has been running the door for the last 5 years. He says it's the perfect break from his everyday duties.
For me, it's such a change from my regular job to be able to come and see positive energy, knowing the work that we're doing has a positive outcome, and being able to see so many of those faces when they're walking through the doors. You often think that we're doing this for others. It is so rewarding for those that volunteer.
Him and many others say it's the reactions from the community that keep them coming back to help each year.
Seeing everybody's excitement, and it's just a happy place to be the next 2 weeks.
In Bangor, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Looks like a lot of fun. It's a big annual event here in the Bangor area. All right, the time now is 8:10. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, an evangelical church in Belfast has sued the University of Maine for religious discrimination. We'll hear why. But first, let's take another quick look at that forecast. Finally, we have some rain in the forecast. We have needed it. High of 48 degrees today, dropping down to a low of 42 overnight. We are likely to see rain showers in the PM hours today, and overnight, rain is likely before noon tomorrow. High of 49 for your Friday. We'll be right back.
As a child, you just couldn't keep me out of the puddles. That's where the acorn essentially was planted. As we got started, we had nothing in the bank, we were cash poor. Now it's just a one-man show. The support of my credit union, starting the business, the banking advice, when you can call them and they're there for you, that's tremendous. It's been a great asset for me and for my company's growth. It's really an exciting time, and my credit union made that possible.
Did you know that 50% of the air you breathe in your home is air that comes from Hafford Basement Systems? All things basementy. A wet, damp basement is a real problem. It can damage your valuables, worsen asthma and allergies, and affect indoor air quality. We'll transform your basement into a dry, usable space and improve the health of your entire home. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems for all things basementy.
Did you know there's a detergent that gets your dishes up to 100% clean, even in an older dishwasher? Try Cascade Platinum Plus for sparkling clean dishes, even on the toughest jobs. Just scrape, load, and you're done. Switch to Cascade Platinum Plus.
When Northern Power Wash Company, located in Bangor, wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. Northern Power Wash provides outstanding pressure washing, window and gutter cleaning services to Eastern and Central Maine. Call Todd at 881-3680 today for a free estimate.
Get ready. The competition really cooks on the new Fox Thursday.
Get out! Gordon Ramsay, I thought I heard someone shouting obscenities.
Hell's Kitchen ignites with head chefs only.
Head chefs only? Eagles only.
And
something was baked here, but has since gone missing.
Crime Scene Kitchen is serving up all new delicious mysteries.
If this is what was baked in Crime Scene Kitchen, you ain't going home today.
Gordon and Joel make Thursdays tasty, starting tonight at 8/7 Central on Fox.
7 projects related to lobster research in Maine have been awarded more than $1.9 million in funding. The funding comes from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, also known as NOAA. It will support research for a number of things, including studying the economic implications of changes to the ecosystem, a project to tag lobsters and track them through their first year of life, and research into socioeconomic impacts of regulations on the industry. Maine's congressional delegation released a statement saying, quote, "From economic and technological advancements to research on how the warming Gulf of Maine is impacting lobster growth, this critical funding will ensure that fishermen and women, lawmakers, and scientists have the information they need to make informed decisions about the future of the industry." An evangelical church in Belfast is suing the University of Maine system for religious discrimination after its winning bid for the Hutchinson Center was rescinded back in September. Our Doug Banks has those details.
Calvary Church Belfast is suing the University of Maine system for religious discrimination after its winning bid for the Hutchinson Center in Belfast was rescinded back in September. This latest development comes less than a week after UMS awarded the vacant building to Belfast-based nonprofit Waldo Community Action Partners following a second bidding process. Representing the church is Orlando-based religious liberties organization Liberty Council, whose VP of Legal Affairs says the lawsuit they filed on Tuesday is on the grounds of the Constitution's First Amendment and 14th Amendment. Back in August, the church was awarded the Hutchinson Center over the future of the Hutchinson Center Steering Committee and Waldo Cap, only for it to be rescinded weeks later after UMS says they found deficiencies in its own evaluation criteria because it did not allow for the full financial impact associated with the Network Main hub to be considered. After the church's winning bid was announced, public disdain ensued, and they claim UMS's reasoning for its following actions were an excuse to rid the church of the Hutchinson Center.
For lack of a better term, they incited a mob and then rigged the second bidding process. The Constitution prohibits that.
UMS states they strongly disagree with any allegations of discrimination and that every proposal received was scored on the same objective standards. As of Wednesday, the church has sent UMS both the lawsuit and a formal protest, which UMS says each of the two losing organizations were allowed to do. According to UMS, the award given to Waldo Cap last Friday will be on pause until the church's protest is resolved. Schmidt says if the lawsuit ends in favor of the church, the Hutchinson Center will then be awarded to Calvary Church Belfast.
The status quo ante is what we would call it. You put them back where they were before the discrimination took place.
To learn more, visit foxbangor.com. In Belfast, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
For many, the holidays can incite feelings of joy, excitement, and nostalgia. But according to healthcare experts, that isn't necessarily the case for everyone. For others, the holidays can cause stress, depression, and anxiety, all of which can be caused by several factors. According to Acadia Hospital Clinical Director of Patient Services, Angela Haley, even just feeling the need to fit in during this time of year can contribute to changes in moods.
There's a lot of pressure around the holidays too. There's a lot of Hallmark movies or commercials that show these picture perfect scenes of what the holidays should look like. And most families, I think, don't operate quite in that same way that we would see and that the media sometimes will portray. And that can put a lot of pressure on people, and it can make them feel like they're not where they should be or they're not where they want to be in life.
Haley says there are a lot of ways to cope with holiday depression and anxiety, but one of the best is to just talk about your feelings with others, whether it's family, friends, or mental health professionals. Just find someone you trust. Haley reminds everyone to be kind to themselves and others and to set realistic expectations during the holidays. And of course, too, there's a lot of financial stressors on the holidays, during the holidays, and it gets darker around this time of year. So there's just all sorts of stuff going on, and like she said, just be kind to yourself. Okay, the time now is 8:17. After the break, severe weather is affecting Americans coast to coast. We'll hear about the cyclone in the Pacific Northwest and the snow and rain in the forecast here in the east. Coming up on Good Morning Maine.
Tell the insurance company you mean business. Call Joe Bornstein, right now.
Call the firm that has been getting justice for Mainers for 50 years. If you've been injured in an accident, call Joe.
The first time you try Bounce, it hits you. Your laundry feels way fresher, softer. So you start to wonder, if I put a sheet of Bounce on the finance guy, will it make him softer? Bounce can't do it all. But for better laundry, put a sheet on it with Bounce.
There are so many fun things to do in Maine. Now you can enjoy more for less. Check out Half Off Fun from foxbangor.com.
Unwind with a massage. Let me take away the stress of everyday life and allow you to fully relax. I offer Swedish, deep tissue, and prenatal massage. Healing Strength Massage in Bangor is your place for relaxing therapeutic massage.
There's a limited supply available. It's on sale right now. Save with Half Off Fun from foxbangor.com.
Are you experiencing foot pain? Comfort Shoes & More has a team of experts trained in podorthics to help you find relief. They offer tailored fittings, shoe modifications, customized orthotics, and much more for the ordinary or the hard-to-fit foot. Discover the latest in functional and fashionable footwear for men and women from today's top brands: Hoka, Brooks, Keen, Merrill, and Ariat. From running to walking, casual or dress, they have it all. Take the drive to Newport for a sit-in fit to find your perfect fit. You and your feet will be glad you did.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home, chances are you have a lot of questions. Norm Prouty has answers. Learn some tips and tricks and explore some beautiful new homes on the market. The Norm Prouty and Donnell Baker Real Estate Show, Sunday mornings at 8:30 on Fox 22.
I was hurt in a bad motorcycle accident, and I was laid up for a couple months.
If you've been injured in a motorcycle accident, call Joe today for a free case evaluation.
I'm really grateful they won my case for me.
Dial 207-CALL-JOE or online at joebornstein.com.
Now to severe weather, impacting people on both sides of the country. Parts of the west could see 18 inches of rain and several feet of snow. Truckers have reportedly been stranded on a major highway. While in the east, snow and rain are offering much-needed drought relief. ABC's Lionel Moyes has the details.
This morning, a so-called atmospheric river pummeling Northern California. Heavy winds sending this tree crashing onto a home north of San Francisco.
I've never seen anything like this.
Up to 18 inches of rain could fall in the coming days, flooding roads and potentially triggering landslides. More than a foot of snow in the mountains already stranding drivers. People flocking to supermarkets ahead of Thanksgiving.
My power is out, so yes, I am stocking up.
Farther north, hundreds of thousands of power outages blamed on the so-called bomb cyclone. At least 2 people killed in Washington state, including a woman taking a shower when a tree sliced through this home.
We're all pretty devastated from his loss, but yeah, it's just kind of terrifying that something like that could happen.
70-mile-per-hour winds toppling power lines, first responders clearing branches from the roads. This windshield smashed in a family's driveway, and this car near Seattle flattened.
Take a look at how tiny that space is. We are told that the person who was inside of this car miraculously survived.
Meanwhile, across the country, the drought-stricken Northeast, plagued by wildfires in recent weeks, is getting much-needed rain and inland snow beginning today, threatening the morning commute across the region. This map shows where up to 1.5 feet of snow could fall, while the big cities get rain and wind.
1 to 3 inches along the coast. We need 3 months of rain to break the drought.
Lionel Moyes, ABC News, New York.
3 months of rain, that's pretty memorable. I'd say we could use it up here as well. All right, the time now is 8:22. Time to get a full look at that forecast with meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Emma, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Irish Collision Center. Irish Collision Center offers expert repairs with the 3D frame measuring system, aluminum repair equipment. Our recent expansion boosts capacity, faster service. We're dedicated to quality every time. Visit us today. Here's what we got. We got advisories that are posted. This is a small craft advisory up until 11 a.m. Friday along the coast here, and a gale warning up until 6 a.m. Friday. We're dealing with some active surf of the system that will be passing through. Let's check in on the wave height. It's not terrible out there, right around 3 to 4 feet according to the buoys right nearby, and a little bit active further off towards the north and east from those buoys. So there's the buoys here, and right about in here, a little bit more active anywhere you see those lighter colors indicates some higher surf currently being observed. Meanwhile, just a little bit of moisture outside of the country right now, but for us, just clouds moving in. We will be watching for more active weather that will be moving in very soon. Here's this big system located right about in here, bringing some snow to parts of the Midwest this morning, and even some rain and snow mixtures taking place across parts of the Northeast, and this will be moving in our direction, mainly as rain, but a little bit of snow could also mix in as well as it tracks off to the north and east. But for today, cloudy skies, it will be breezy outside, maybe some afternoon rain showers on the way. Better opportunities will approach later on tonight and as we head towards tomorrow morning, and notice so the rain will be moving in mainly during the morning period. It will start to back off during the afternoon before another wave of rain moves in as we head towards Friday night into parts of Saturday. Notice some cooler air moving in, so farther off towards the north, a little bit of snow can't be ruled out either. But otherwise, let's talk about this system here. Even through parts of Saturday, we will have rain passing through along with gusty winds, some snow across the northern parts of the state. Some of that may try to sneak down further down toward the south as well. It will start to move out as we head towards Sunday morning, so by the time we head towards next week, things will begin to relax, even though still a little bit windy out there too. So the rainfall for today, nothing too ridiculous, but now I'm going to run this all the way through the weekend. We have a lot of rainfall on the way between now and this weekend, around 1 to maybe 2 inches of rainfall on the way before we're all finished up. So for today, we have upper 40s, cloudy with afternoon rain showers, and that northeast wind at about 25 miles per hour. As we move ahead towards tonight, lower 40s, cloudy with more rain showers possible, especially late with that northeast wind gusting up to about 30 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, we have up, upper 40s cloudy with rain showers primarily before noon, and that east wind gusting up to around 20 miles per hour at times. We might get a little bit of rain for the afternoon as well. Let's check out your extended forecast here, brought to you by Irish Collision Center. More rain on the way for you Saturday with highs in the mid-40s. More rain showers again for you Sunday. Nothing too ridiculous there with highs in the mid-40s. And then partly cloudy Monday with highs also in the mid-40s.
Nothing feels as good as driving a new Hyundai. And now you can get a great deal on your favorite model at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Plus, every Hyundai is backed by America's best warranty. Hurry to the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event before this offer ends. Make your next getaway your best one yet. Get an all-wheel drive Santa Fe for 1.99% APR for up to 72 months, or lease for $269 a month. Hurry in.
Swiffer Sweeper Dry traps 2 times more dust and hair for a clean even mom approves of.
Nice reach.
Brooms can just push stuff around, but Swiffer grabs dirt and even traps the hair. Swiffer, the mother of all cleans. Love it or your money back.
Gun Sports and Brewer knows that for fun, exercise, and meeting new friends, nothing is better than ice skating. Whether it's sailing down the ice, making a great pass, and scoring in a game of hockey, or the grace, strength, and expression of figure skating. From the youngest child all the way to adulthood, anyone can enjoy the fun of skating. At Gun Sports, we supply the equipment for your skating fun for great prices, the proper fit, and service after the sale. Shop your locally owned Gun Sports shop, Greenpoint Road in Brewer.
They're rounding the last turn and coming down the stretch. TB Estate is in the lead, followed by Perkaway. Wait, what's this coming up from the outside? Luke from Next Home Experience? What is going on here? TB Estate is still leading, but out of nowhere, Luke from Next Home Experience is gaining. I've never seen anything like this. Luke from Next Home Experience takes the win. Can you believe this? They are not kidding. Get roofed, get sold.
We have 30,000 ways to thank our loyal fans.
Courtroom leader, the judge.
Win one of 3 $10,000 cash prizes.
You just won the game, guys!
It's the 30K Thanks Arama giveaway.
Weekdays at 9 on Fox 22.
This morning, the congressional report on the investigation into Matt Gaetz will not be released to the public, at least for now. The bipartisan House Ethics Committee voting yesterday to keep that report private. It comes as Gaetz is on Capitol Hill meeting with some of the Republican senators who could decide his fate. Gaetz is facing allegations of sexual misconduct and illicit drug use. Allegations Gaetz denies. Democrats on the committee say they want the report released, highlighting it was the Republicans who do not. President-elect Donald Trump standing by Gaetz, a senior Trump advisor telling ABC News they'll work to end the political careers of any Republican who votes against Trump's nominees. A Venezuelan man was convicted of murder in the killing of a Georgia nursing student named Laken Riley. The case sparked a national debate over immigration during this year's presidential race. Riley's killer, Jose Ibarra, waived his right to a jury trial, and the judge who heard his case also decided his sentence. The judge found Ibarra guilty of all 10 counts against him. Among the charges, 1 count of malice murder and 3 counts of felony murder. Before the verdict, prosecutors told the judge Laken Riley gave them all the evidence needed to convict Ibarra. They allege he killed her while she fought back during an attempted rape, while the defense tried to cast doubt on some of the evidence, calling it circumstantial. The judge hearing the case ultimately disagreed. Ibarra's status as an undocumented immigrant was not brought up during the 4-day bench trial. A developing story overseas. Internet service disrupted in parts of Europe, and now questions about whether Russia is to blame. ABC's Perry Russum has the details.
This morning, questions about potential sabotage after 2 underwater internet cables connecting parts of Europe to the NATO countries of Finland and Sweden were severed under the Baltic Sea. A cargo ship in the area owned by a Chinese company has raised suspicion. Local authorities now tracking the ship that set sail from Russia. Unconfirmed reports claim the captain is Russian. European officials not directly blaming Russia for the disconnected cables, but Germany and Finland saying our European security is not only under threat from Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine, but also from hybrid warfare by malicious actors. Hybrid warfare is a term that could include unconventional tactics like cyber attacks.
Speaking generally, we are incredibly concerned about hybrid warfare conducted by Russia both in Europe and around the world, and it's something that we have been in close coordination with our European allies.
It comes as Ukraine launches British-made cruise missiles into Russia for the first time, just days after President Biden allowed Ukraine to fire American long-range missiles into Russian territory. Ukraine is fighting to hold a small patch of Russian territory to use as possible negotiating leverage with Russian President Vladimir Putin. ABC's Ian Pannell with exclusive access to this command center, where Ukrainian drone operators are launching attacks on Russian troops.
For Ukrainians, we do not have a choice. We have to fight because we are fighting for our land and for our way of life, for our freedom.
Putin this week escalating his nuclear rhetoric, and Reuters reporting Russia is now making these mobile bomb shelters which can protect against a nuclear blast. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
And coming up on the second half of the newscast, the Maine Veterans Project is continuing to lend a helping hand in the community. We'll hear about their upcoming turkey giveaway. Coming up on Good Morning Maine.
Hey babe, what's a 5-letter word that starts with PH and ends with NE?
James, have you tried the 4 free phone flakes?
Dad, 4 free phones.
4 free phones?
Thanks. Choose 4 free phones and 4 lines for $90 a month, no trade-in needed. U.S. Cellular.
Downy does more to make clothes softer, fresher, and better. Because your hoodie does more than complete your look. Like when it becomes her favorite place to cuddle. Downy is more than just a fabric softener. It breathes life into your laundry.
I just want to know if I have a crush.
Love is a funny thing.
I'm both threatened and delighted by your brain. She makes me crazy.
That's where it starts.
Weekdays at 4 on Fox 22.
U.S. Cellular has the incredible new iPhone 16 Pro. The first iPhone built for Apple Intelligence. Spread the word.
And don't forget camera control. It'll blow you away.
Get the new iPhone 16 Pro on us. No trade-in needed. U.S. Cellular, built for us.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith, and today is Thursday, November 21st, 2024. And today's holiday is a day known as the Great American Smokeout. It's not about smoked meats. I know that sounds pretty delicious. It's a little different. It challenges cigarette smokers to give up smoking for just 24 hours, just to take the first step towards quitting forever. This holiday was sponsored by the American Cancer Society, I think about 4 decades ago. It was in the 80s, so it was before all of these alternative nicotine products like Zins and like vapes and stuff like that. It was designed to lessen cancer rates related to smoking. So, you know, maybe if you're not a cigarette smoker, you vape or you do Zins or you have dip. So I suggest maybe taking 24 hours to celebrate this holiday to see if you can do it because, you know, consider this a challenge. Your health and well-being is the most important thing, and you deserve to feel healthy and well. I'll get off my soapbox. I know nobody likes being told what to do, especially when it comes to our vices. I know I have mine, so I'll get off my soapbox. I was just in the just saying category. I was putting it out there. Okay, now let's get some history. On this day in 1620, 41 male passengers on the Mayflower signed the Mayflower Compact prior to landing at Plymouth, Massachusetts, to agree to abide by the laws of the new government they would establish. Of course, I remember writing this in the midpoint last year. This is how you know Thanksgiving is right around the corner. In 1877, Thomas Edison's invention of the phonograph was announced. In 1931, the horror film Frankenstein was released, starring Boris Karloff as the monster, based on Mary Shelley's 1818 novel. It came out almost 100 years ago. Isn't that crazy to think about? And it still stands up. This is still something that people think about to this day. I actually have not seen this one. I love monster movies, and I have seen The Mummy, which Boris Karloff is also really known for. So, you know, we have some rain in the forecast forecast today, I'd say it's a great day for a movie, and I'm going to have to find this one somewhere. Good stuff. Okay, moving on to another film now. In 1976, the film Rocky, starring Sylvester Stallone, premiered in New York City. It would win Best Picture the following year. And of course, this photo right here, that iconic photograph from Philly, from the steps of the Museum of Art right there, a really cool shot. Super iconic and kind of ingrained in American culture. All right, in 1989, a law that banned smoking on most domestic flights was signed by U.S. President George H.W. Bush. In 1885, a peace agreement known as, 1985 rather, a peace agreement known as the Dayton Accords was reached by the presidents of Bosnia, Croatia, and Serbia, ending the Bosnian War. And a few years ago, just back in 2019, Elon Musk launched the Tesla electric Cybertruck. It has been around for that long. I know I'm seeing them in Bangor now even, so, you know, they're around. They did originally, I don't know if this is still something they market, but originally they said they'd have shatter-proof windows. But unfortunately, when it was demonstrated on stage, they shattered. They shattered on stage. So that's kind of disappointing. Okay, now for some birthdays. TV show host and journalist Michael Strahan is 53 years old today. I think he has a new special on Good Morning America. Such a busy guy. Actress Goldie Hawn is 79 today, and singer-songwriter Bjork is 59 today, an Icelandic singer known for her outlandish costumes and lyrics and music. She's super cool. Okay. Moving on now, some rain in the forecast, as I was saying. Just a chance today, but it is likely to increase as the days go on into the weekend. So let's get a look at that forecast with meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Hey, Emma, thank you very much. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Irish Collision Center. Irish Collision Center offers expert repairs with a 3D frame measuring system, aluminum repair equipment. Our recent expansion boosts capacity, faster service. We're dedicated to quality every time. Visit us today. Here we go. We do have some advisories that are posted. This is a small craft advisory that is up until 11 a.m. Friday along the coast, with gale warnings up until 6 a.m. Friday as well. We're dealing with some active surf with a system that will be passing through. Meanwhile, though, we're quiet outside this morning. Plenty of clouds moving in, a little bit of moisture further off towards the east. But our focus now is going to be turning more toward the south and west with this system right about in here that's bringing some rain and a little bit of snow with it as well. That will start to track in our direction. We'll get some rain going throughout the weekend and maybe a little bit of snow before we're all finished up as well. Futurecast, plenty of clouds across the region. It will be breezy out there. Maybe some afternoon rain showers today as well. More opportunities for rain will approach later on tonight and the parts of Friday morning. As for the gusty winds, they can reach up to around 20 to 25 miles per hour today. Still rather gusty overnight tonight and into the daytime period tomorrow. Upper 40s today, cloudy with afternoon rain showers possible, and the northeast wind at about 25 miles per hour. Your hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period showing that mostly cloudy sky, maybe a chance for an afternoon rain shower with temperatures in the 40s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Emma?
Thank you, Devin. Well, the Maine Veterans Project is saying thank you to veterans by providing them and their families with Thanksgiving dinners. What started as a modest food drive just a couple years ago has grown into an initiative that now feeds hundreds of families each year. Each veteran will receive a bag filled with all the essentials for a Thanksgiving meal, including turkey, gravy, stuffing, and everything else needed to celebrate the holiday. Doc Goodwin, president of the Maine Veterans Project, says this is one way he shows gratitude to those who have served.
So these are a very expensive couple of months with food holidays, gift holidays, you name it. So this just kind of takes a big level of stress off people's shoulders. Helps with a decent contribution at a time where lots of expenses are coming up. So it's usually the alleviation of stress, knowing that this food's going to be there, having enough to last for a while.
In addition to the food, a special Thanksgiving card from Herman Elementary students will also be included in the bags, offering an extra touch of holiday cheer. The bags will be passed out this Sunday from 8 a.m. to noon at the Maine Veterans Project, located at 207 Parkview Avenue in Bangor. Goodwin says it's first come, first serve, so he recommends arriving early. Again, it starts at 8 a.m. All right. Right after the break, Tyler Cruz will have our sports updates and we'll have our Pet of the Week. We'll be right back.
Comfy, cozy, relaxing. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find rockers, recliners, sofas, and easy chairs. Quality furniture, affordable prices. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
Ye Old General, located in Carmel, has everything you could ever need. Whether it be kerosene, regular or ethanol-free gasoline, wood pellets, a fresh-cooked pizza, or fried food, they've got you covered. Looking to get a stiff drink after work? Ye Old General is an agency liquor store with a great selection of alcohol. Ye Old General can help with your next home project, carrying carpentry supplies from hammers and nails to specialty nuts and bolts. They have what you need to get the job done. Stop by Ye Old General today. If you don't think they'll have it, they probably do.
Dad, I got a huge barbecue wing stain.
This bottle says I need a pre-treat.
That stuff has way more water. A little bit of time goes a long way. So you can save your shirt and maybe even a little money.
More money for nights at the library.
Right.
For a better clean with less, it's got to be Tide.
Your favorite restaurants for half off. It's half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7. Go to foxbangor.com, click on half off dining, and start saving now.
Little Miss Davis Sweets and Treats, a home-based business that specializes in homemade baked goods. Everything I bake is made to order. I specialize in baking homemade fudge, brownies, cupcakes, giant cookies, and large gingerbread men.
Great restaurants from all over Eastern Maine at half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7.
When Northern Power Wash Company, located in Bangor, wants to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. Northern Power Wash provides outstanding pressure washing, window and gutter cleaning services to Eastern and Central Maine. Call Todd at 881-3680 today for a free estimate.
Durable, sturdy, stylish. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find solid wood, built to last, made in Maine dressers, bureaus, and nightstands. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
Purdue
My goodness!
takes on Michigan State.
Touchdown Spartans!
Fox College Football Friday kicks off at 8 Eastern.
It is Musket Week in Orono. Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. Maine football is gearing up for their final game of the season, hosting the University of New Hampshire for the 112th battle for the Bryce Cowell Musket. Now we welcome in our Jack Webb, former Maine football lineman, now our de facto Orono insider. Jack, you've been in that locker room this year. You've been following the team every week. Just how big is this matchup?
Yeah, Tyler, simply put, it's the most important game of the year. This one, it's one of the most historic rivalries across college football, and it's been going on since 1903, and of course, that was a win for the Maine Black Bears, but it's just a huge game every year. It's a final test of your culture against your bitter rival, and it's something Maine puts an emphasis on all year long. When the program goals are shared in meetings in February, in July, in August, beat UNH is always up there in the top three, and it's something that's worked towards all year long. As a player, you want to take it week by week, opponent by opponent, but that UNH game is always lingering in the back of your head.
We're fortunate to be a part of a rivalry. I mean, to have a rivalry at the end of the year, a trophy game that represents, we feel like it represents all that our program stands for, and, finishing strong. This is this opportunity for us to finish, and just really looking forward to the opportunity and excited for our players to have this opportunity to play at home for the Musket is always a special day.
All right, now just looking back at these past matchups, Jack, it's really been all UNH. Maine has just 5 wins in this rivalry game since the turn of the century. You had that multiple overtime game. Last time it was in Orono. That went to the Wildcats. You were on the last squad to win the Musket, though. What does it come down to? What's the difference between a win and a loss?
Yeah, Tyler, it is very fair to say that UNH has dominated the series over the past few decades, so much so that a few UNH players were shown on the Jumbotron last season saying, we don't respect them in the fourth quarter of the game last season. And the Black Bears will look to flip that script on them on Saturday. Senior captain John Costanza described the rivalry as a hard-nosed football, right? And he's correct, sorry. It's almost always played deep in November, so the weather's never great. And this is the type of game where you throw the record books out the window. Like you said, Tyler, I think back to that 2022 game when Maine came in with a 2-8 record while UNH had an opportunity to win a share of the CAA title. Those are two teams moving in the opposite direction, and it was decided by a 2-point conversion in overtime. Both of these teams will look to put their cultures on display, and Coach Stevens says composure is a key to success in the battle for the Musket.
In these games, it's the team that's the closest, it's the team that can execute the best, the team that can handle the ups and downs of the game the best that's going to win. I've been a part of a lot of these games, and momentum is a big part of it. So being able to be in control and get some of that momentum is going to be a big focus of ours.
Lastly, Tyler, this is a game, it's so intense, Musket Week. The senior day kind of gets washed out because it's so intense. You're so focused on beating UNH. Just got to give a shout out to their seniors. They'll be playing their last game of their college careers on Saturday at the Alfond.
Awesome stuff, Jack. Thank you for joining us. Best of luck to those seniors. Let's move on. We'll talk some hockey now. News breaking on Tuesday that the Boston Bruins are relieving head coach Jim Montgomery from his duties after starting the year with just 8 wins in 20 games. Monty was the winningest coach in the NHL over the time period he spent behind the bench in Boston. The Bruins and the players and the brass of the franchise reacting to the coaching change for the first time on Wednesday. In Montgomery's first season with Boston, he led them to the best regular season in NHL history, but fell in the first round of the playoffs. The Bruins made it to the second round last year before falling to the eventual champs. GM Don Sweeney says he hates the decision he had to make, but they hope it sends the message that they have not been good enough.
And moving forward, that rests with me now. From a personnel standpoint, and the players themselves, they have to understand that they're not where they need to be. And we're either going to get back there or there'll be continued changes across the board.
I feel terrible as a group, individually, that we let a really good coach and a really good person down.
Bruins are back in action on Thursday. Back to some football now. The Patriots back in action this Sunday. They hit the road to take on AFC East rival, the Miami Dolphins. The Patriots, New England looking to avoid the season sweep from Miami for the second consecutive year. The Dolphins defeating the Patriots 15-10 back in Week 4, prompting the Pats to turn to Drake May at quarterback. In that game, the Dolphins had Tyler Huntley under center while Tua Tagovailoa recovered from a concussion, so both offenses will be much better than that 25-point total game back in September, and the Patriots are excited for that challenge.
Tua's here, and you can see just the difference in that offense with Tua out there. Very good player for him. You talk about their receivers, obviously one word to describe those guys are it's fast. Those guys are blazers, and we have some fast guys on defense too.
They're good in the back end. They got some veterans guys that have played a long time in this league and are good players, and same thing really in the linebacker corps. So we got a tall task.
That came at 1 p.m. Sunday. New England looking for their 4th win of the season. That is all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
I called Joe Bornstein's office for a free case evaluation. They helped me with a car accident. I was injured, and so was my dog. They helped me with getting my vet bills reimbursed, my medical bills reimbursed, and going above and beyond, doing more than I had ever expected. They were kind, pleasant, and understanding through it all. The law offices of Joe Bornstein made the process so easy, I would absolutely recommend them.
Call Joe today for a free case evaluation. There's never a fee unless you win.
Incoming dishes! Doc! Dawn Power Wash flies through 99% of grease and grime in half the time.
Yeah, it absorbs grease 5 times faster. Even replaces multiple cleaning products.
Ooh, those suds got game.
Dawn Power Wash, the better grease getter.
Renovating or building new, you'll find a wide selection of high-performing, energy-efficient, and beautiful windows and doors at Hammond Lumber Company. Your Hammond sales representative will walk you through the showroom displays and help you choose options to create a personalized custom look. Free in-home measurement is available, and Hammond can deliver your order from any of their locations across Maine and New Hampshire. Bring your vision and enjoy better light and added security and energy savings with quality windows and doors from Hammond Lumber Company.
Let your creativity run free at the Creative Arts Center, where we offer fun and affordable activities for all ages. Birthday parties, pottery wheel classes, painting lessons, or just for the fun of it. Get fired up for glazing projects as well as acrylics. We offer a wide selection of ceramic products for you to choose from, and we have thousands of pieces ready to paint. We are a Paragon kiln dealer and a Laguna Clay distributor. Stop by the Creative Arts Center today, located just off the Joshua Chamberlain Bridge in Brewer. The Creative Arts Center, where your only limitation is your imagination.
It's Judge Judy's greatest hits with classics like
That's ridiculous. That's a lot of baloney.
Plus,
What are you, nuts?
Judge Judy, delivering the hits daily.
Weekdays at 6 on Fox 22.
Good Morning Maine. I'm here with Gabby Hubble of the Bangor Humane Society, and we have a new best friend here. Gabby, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Who's this?
This is Ren. Ren is a 4-year-old dog that's been with us since September, and we're not sure why she's still here, but she's pretty much perfect. She's the best dog ever, and when I asked staff members who I should bring, they said bring Ren because she's an angel baby princess, and they're not wrong.
Angel baby princess. She acts like a puppy, but I'm noticing she does have some white around the muzzle underneath, so she might be a little bit older.
Yes, we're guessing she's around 4 years old. She came to us as a stray, so we're not too sure on for sure age, but she is around 4 years old.
Yep.
Energy-wise, she is very playful still. She loves to play with toys, and she's just so happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, there we go. Let's make a smile for the camera. Good girl. Good girl. So yeah, I mean, on the note of she's categorized as angel baby princess. That's a very professional term here.
Yes, of course.
What do you guys like about her?
She is perfectly well-rounded.
Yep.
We have seen some positive interactions with other dogs at the shelter, but all dogs in the home would need to meet with her, of course.
Right.
She has also interacted wonderfully with staff members 9 and 13-year-olds, so she, of course, will need to meet all humans in the home as well, but she is really, really great with kids.
Wow.
Cats, she may chase, but we're asking good judgment, and with slow introductions, that could go really well.
Yep.
So she's just a perfect, well-rounded dog. She needs to meet everybody, but it could probably be a really great fit for everybody in the home.
She marched right in the newsroom, didn't seem anxious at all. She's just happy to be here. She does have a little bit of dandruff going, which she needs a spa day. It seems like most dogs that would solve if you give them what
like an oatmeal bath, something really gentle for their skin, but she deserves a spa day. She needs to be pampered.
You deserve to be pampered, honey buns. I was saying too, it's like this is like the perfect size dog for an active person who maybe wants to hike.
Yes, and she does have a pretty high energy level, and she's ripped, so she would love to go on hikes, daily walks, daily enrichment, the works for her.
Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, she looks like she has a tiny bit of brindle right here on her head, but otherwise she's black.
She's so pretty.
You are so pretty, honey bun. But yeah, looks like a good fit for anybody. Do you guys have anything else going on at the shelter this upcoming holiday season?
Nothing crazy going on, but we are excited to announce that Ed Hendrickson's fundraiser, Ed for Pets, met his goal yesterday. We reached about $6,100, so we're really excited that he met his goal.
Right, yeah, so if folks remember Pet of the Week last week, World War II vet Ed Hendrickson came on to share his love of dogs, cats, and animals, everything in between, and to share that he was, for his 104th birthday, doing a fundraiser, and he met his goal.
He did.
Yeah, what a great birthday present.
Yeah, we're so thankful for him.
Yeah, oh my gosh, well, and it benefits little guys and girls just like you. I feel like she can see herself in the screen, or now she doesn't even care.
I need some snacks.
Okay. Oh, look at you. What are you doing, buddy? All right. Well, looks like we figured it all out. She's so easy. There's nothing else to talk about.
Yeah, she's perfect.
Okay. As usual, you can head to bangorhumane.org. That's what it is? Okay. bangorhumane.org. But you guys prefer if people just come in at open time, right?
Coming in is best. We do first come, best fit. So if you're interested in an animal, it's the best way to get your eyes on them, get into a visit room with them, and possibly adopt them.
Yep. I know when I got my cat, I had actually signed out an adoption application ahead of time, so that when you see the right fit, you can be like, that's the one I want.
That's the one.
I want right now.
First in line.
Right.
Yep, exactly.
So that's
you
a
can
good
fill that
call.
out online. You can also do it in person, but online is probably best.
Right. So if you're looking for a new pet, that's a good way to go. All right, Gabby, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Of course. And thank you too. Good girl. Somebody take her home. Okay, we'll send it over to Devin Biggs for our full weather forecast.
Alrighty, Emma, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Irish Collision Center. Irish Collision Center offers expert repairs with a 3D frame measuring system, aluminum repair equipment. Our recent expansion boosts capacity, faster service. We're dedicated to quality every time. Visit us today. Here's what we got. We got advisories that are posted. This is a small craft advisory up until 11 a.m. Friday along the coast here, and a gale warning up until 6 a.m. Friday. We're dealing with some active active surf of the system that will be passing through. Let's check in on the wave height. It's not terrible out there. We're at around 3 to 4 feet according to the buoys right nearby. And a little bit active further off towards the north and east from those buoys. So there's the buoys here. And right about in here, a little bit more active anywhere you see those lighter colors indicate some higher surf currently being observed. Meanwhile, just a little bit of moisture outside of the country right now, but for us, just clouds moving in. We will be watching for more active weather that will be moving in very soon. Here's this big system located right about in here, bringing some snow to parts of the Midwest this morning, and even some rain and snow mixtures taking place across parts of the Northeast, and this will be moving in our direction, mainly as rain, but a little bit of snow could also mix in as well as it tracks off to the north and east. But for today, cloudy skies. It will be breezy outside, maybe some afternoon rain showers on the way. Better opportunities will approach later on tonight and as we head towards tomorrow morning. And notice so the rain will be moving in mainly during the morning period. It will start to back off during the afternoon before another wave of rain moves in as we head towards Friday night into parts of Saturday. Notice some cooler air moving in. So farther off towards the north, a little bit of snow can't be ruled out either. But otherwise, let's talk about this system here. Even through parts of Saturday, we will have rain passing through along with gusty winds, some snow across the northern parts of the state. Some of that may try to sneak down further down to the south as well. It will start to move out as we head towards Sunday morning. So by the time we head towards next week, things will begin to relax, even though still a little bit windy out there too. So the rainfall for today, nothing too ridiculous, but now I'm going to run this all the way through the weekend. We have a lot of rainfall on the way between now and this weekend, around 1 to maybe 2 inches of rainfall on the way before we're all finished up. So for today, we have upper 40s, cloudy with afternoon rain showers and that northeast wind at about 25 miles per hour. As we move ahead towards tonight, lower 40s, cloudy with more rain showers possible, especially late with that northeast wind gusting up to about 30 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, we have upper 40s, cloudy with rain showers primarily before noon and that east wind gusting up to around 20 miles per hour at times. We might get a little bit of rain for the afternoon as well. Let's check out your extended forecast here brought to you by Irish Collision Center. More rain on the way for you Saturday with highs in the mid-40s. More rain showers again for you Sunday. Nothing too ridiculous there with highs in the mid-40s. And then partly cloudy Monday with highs also in the mid-40s.
I got hurt in a car accident, but I don't want to spend all day dealing with a lawyer.
It only takes a few minutes. It's easier than you think to hire Lowry & Associates.
We can tell you in just a few minutes if you may have a case. And that free call could mean the difference of thousands of dollars for you.
The first call to Lowry & Associates only took a few minutes. And in the end, they settled my case for $450,000.
Hurt in a car accident? I'm your go-to guy.
Swiffer Sweeper Dry traps 2 times more dust and hair for a clean even mom approves of.
Nice reach.
Brooms can just push stuff around, but Swiffer grabs dirt and even traps the hair. Swiffer, the mother of all cleans. Love it or your money back.
Fires, floods, burst pipes. Disasters happen, but the mess they leave behind doesn't have to last. For 40 years, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration has been there to help Mainers get back to the closest to normal as they can. When your property is at its worst, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration is at their best, and they have been for 4 decades. Put your trust in the Bouchard team. Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration. You keep the memories, we'll handle the rest.
Protect your vehicle from rusting away with Bell's Automotive Protection. We are the leader in mobile undercoating and rust proofing in Maine. We'll travel right to your driveway using the best and safest products on the market. This is much safer than rubberized coatings that can cause damage later on. We spray all types of vehicles, including commercial fleets. We all know vehicles aren't cheap anymore. Don't let the harsh winter chemicals eat them away. Call us or visit our page for a free quote. 207-659-3805.
Sundays, NFL coverage starts with Fox NFL Kickoff at 11.
This is great TV.
It is caught! Then it's Fox NFL Sunday at noon.
This kid has it all.
The best NFL pregame shows are back-to-back, only on Fox.
This holiday season, the Central Maine Ghost Hunters are not just looking for ghosts, they're also looking for toys for local kids. They're holding a toy drive for new toys to benefit kids at the Spurwink Chelsea program and will be accepting donations through Saturday, December 15th. Drop-off locations are aplenty, listed here on your screen. Lasting Impressions in Fairfield, Clinton Variety Bottle Redemption in Clinton, the Nautilus Marine Hardware Store in Sullivan, and among others. For more information, you can contact Central Maine Ghost Hunters on Facebook. And if you need a repeat of those drop-off locations, this story is up on our website, foxbangor.com. There are all sorts of events going on this weekend, so tune in tomorrow. We'll have a community calendar pointing you into the direction of some craft fairs and stuff like that. I know the diehards already know what's going on this weekend, though, so it should be a fun weekend heading into the holiday season. But yeah, looks like we're about out of time for now. If you missed anything, like I said, head to foxbangor.com, and I hope you have a great Thursday.
Today on 25 Words or Less, he's such a good actor.